the things that I like about tarot readers, regardless of, remember I told you I don't talk about all of the tarot readers, because all of them I don't have a problem with, just the ones that are silly, they know my character, and they just be trying to throw little silly, snarky comments for no reason, trying to make, I don't give a damn about that, that's your karma, so I'm not really tripping about that. But one thing about tarot readers that I like is that the ones who do like to read out the truth, they and try to help people, they enlighten you to a lot of different stuff that people in the spiritual world do that a lot of people aren't aware of. Now, this is another tarot reader. I don't even think she's online anymore, but she was saying in one of her readings how when you have, I'm not trying to be explicit, this video not for kids, but I'm just talking a little bit explicit. They said when you have sex with or intercourse with someone and they're saying, oh, that's mine, or that's a spell, because it's like, it's kind of like a person is, number one, when you're in your intimate moments, it's like, and somebody's chanting like that and they're constantly saying that, and she said this, not me, but it's like in your mind, it's like, especially in an intimate moment like that, that's like it's putting a permanent stamp in your mind that you don't go anywhere else. This stuff belongs. Especially if they're doing it to like in a bad way, they can go out and do stuff, but they want you. It's like, and people, when you say stuff like that, anybody who does it doesn't mean that they're evil, and some people may not even be aware that they're doing it, but people who practice the craft, they are aware that they're doing it. It's kind of like it's altering your mind to make you believe that you don't, whatever, regardless of what happens, this is mine, whatever. So that's a form of spell work. Now, another thing with how you can tell you're under a spell with a demonic person who's using it for evil intent, because remember I told you it's all about the intent. When you are in a relationship with somebody and you feel like you can't leave, you feel like you know you can, it's a free world, but you literally feel like bad or you can't leave or whatever, but you know you're not being treated right, that's spell work. And I'm going to give you an example of how I came to clarity about this besides from readings. When I was in a relationship with not just the narc, but before that, the Scorpio ex, it's like we were, the one who stays in Irvington Village, we were arguing a whole lot. Extremely to the point where I kind of lost sight of who I used to be, because naturally I'm a very sweet, soft-spoken person. I don't like a lot of people around me, but I'm very, very nice. I try to look out for people. I'm just a good person or whatever, and I go over and beyond in relationships, not just trying to like prove that I'm worthy of love and like that. It's just who I am. I just love to cater, and I just love doing like little cute, little nice stuff because it was done to me when I was younger. So it's just in me to do that. It's just who I am. But when I got with a Scorpio, see, number one, he likes to drink a lot, and just real silly or whatever. And when you're around people like that, it's just negative, toxic. And I feel like he just gets like that when he drinks. But when you're around people like that, it can, and they just say silly stuff, it can kind of make you snap out of reality for a little bit. And it's like I had became really, really violent to the point where that's why I said empaths are all naturally sweet, but we can't be around silly people because it'll make us feel like we're dealing with a demon. And when you're dealing with somebody who you feel is a demon or has a demon in them, you're going to treat them as such. Like just like little stuff that he would say. And it'd be like every day, and it make me snap to the point where, okay, one day he said something real crazy, and I won't go into details because it's the past. I'm just using this for my story, but he said something real crazy, and I just grabbed the frame off the wall and just bashed it over his head. It's just like and that's just a little bit of stuff that I do. It's like, it's just, I can't be around certain types of people. And then what happens is that when you're around people like that, you look at the stuff and the way you treat them, and then you look at what they're doing, and it's not matching up, and it can really make a person snap. But I was wondering why we got into such violent arguments, and just everybody knew. It was like to a point of every day, and it's like I still couldn't leave. And you're like, why can't I leave? Why can't I leave? And I always knew he was an Easter Star, but I didn't really know what that was. I thought it was just a brotherhood, and they do good in community. But when you wake up and you realize, and then when I found out he was doing spell work, that's spell work. It's like, you know this person isn't right for you. You know you're happy. You know you're not happy. You know you're miserable. You know you're not being treated in the way you're supposed to be treated, but you're just still there. You just still sitting there, and you're like, what the? It's just like if you're not aware of what's going on, and it's just kind of like you're just going to be sitting in your misery. And another thing, like with the narc, and I hate to bring it up, but I use part of my story is to help other people. When I was with him, it's like he was doing a lot of stuff that he would do, a lot of disrespectful stuff that me and my normal logic mind, if I wasn't under any type of spell work and just was completely aware that he was doing it, it's like the first time he did something silly, it's like I just would have just left him alone. Just like little silly stuff he do. I told you, like with the family, his family disrespecting me. When the first time that happened, it's like I should have just left it alone. In my right mind, I would just be like, fuck you, get the fuck out, go live with your mama. But it's like when people are doing that spell work, you just feel like, oh, when you kick a person out from doing this really, really disrespectful stuff that you know they should never get a second chance for, and then all of a sudden you feel liberated when you kick them out, but then all of a sudden you just feel bad, and what should I do? But it's that person, because when one thing you can tell if a person is doing spell work on you is if you feel real obligated to do something for them, but you're not getting nothing in return. They're just doing it for you, and then you realize when you wake up, you realize, man, they playing me, because if a person really love you, regardless of the spell work or whatever, they're going to reciprocate and they want you to be happy. If a person know you just constantly complaining and you look miserable, you look tired, you look sick, and when you're dealing with narcissists and demonic people, it affects your physical health. It affects you on a physical level. You end up getting really sick. And I tell a person this: when you find out that a person has been doing spells on you or whatever, or even come to me spells, but the intent behind it, why people do certain things, and you find out that they're not reciprocating, that means that the person doesn't love you. Because I mean, you have to really think about it. It's kind of like that's a form of like mind control and a form of I get this person to do whatever I want to do. And one thing you have to realize, when people are evil and doing stuff like that, other people who know about the craft know that they're doing it, and they're laughing at you behind your back. You just don't know that. It's like, I mean, just think about that. Regardless of how people try to downplay, and like I said before, stop. And people can think whatever they want to think. I'm finally at the point where I'm not bringing up that narc situation. Those are just two situations of people I know were in the craft, the narc, and then before that the Scorpio egg. So these are the situations that I know of people who dabbled in the craft and did certain things for evil intent. So that's why I'm discussing it. I'm not stuck on that stuff anymore at all. So, and you can kind of tell in my energy, you can tell that I'm not on it. The spells have totally been broken. So anyway, like I said before, when you wake up and find out that people are doing it, whether it's to stay with a place to live, or stay with you just being obsessive over them or whatever, or just keeping you stuck so they could just mistreat you, you start getting mad because you start realizing that the person is playing you. Because like I said before, they're not doing it just to cater to you, or just in general. It's like they're doing it for evil intent. They're doing it to play you for a fool. And when you wake up to that, then you start getting enraged and mad. One way to kind of break free of the spell work is to start realizing that they're doing it. Start paying attention to your energy. Start paying attention if one minute you feel like you just don't give a F about them no more, and the next minute you're just, oh, I gotta help them, I gotta look out for them, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? One thing like with and I heard another reader was talking about sympathy spells. This is a while back. Sympathy spells. It's like when somebody does something really demonic and silly, and you just like, fuck you for life, throw the middle finger upset, and I started to curse, but you just be like, get the hell away. That was just unacceptable, whatever. You don't even think about them no more. You just don't want them around. Sympathy spells when you start, well, maybe they didn't mean it like that, or well, they were, it just, a person can make their face look sad, or just in general, it's like that sympathy spills, because a person who really truly loves you, they care about your health, they care about how you feel. They don't want to see you look miserable and sad. They don't want to see your health feel. They want to see you happy. They want to put a smile on your face. And one way I always tell people how to be able to tell if you're dealing with a real person or a fake person, pay attention to how you treat them and see if it's reciprocated. Ask yourself, if you saw somebody that you really cared about, if you saw them looking sad, if you saw them seeming like they just don't feel good or they're just miserable, what would you do if you really love that person and you knew you had the power to put a smile on their face and make them happy? You would try to go out of your way to make them happy, right? If you love them, right? Okay, so if a person doesn't do that, that means that they love you. One thing you have to realize about women can be very manipulative. That's one of the reasons why I don't mind dating a guy with kids, but I don't really want to. If I could choose, I would rather not date a guy who has intrusive baby mamas and stuff like that, because of just women can be kind of silly. I don't want to deal with nobody that has no baby mama that he can't control, and she calling and asking for stuff, because this is just my opinion and the way I look at things. The way I look at things is kind of like if you have a child with somebody and a family with somebody and y'all not longer together in a new relationship, a man is not obligated to take care of you and your child. You're not supposed to have the same exes. I feel like a woman should, her next man is supposed to have exes, and if you have to pay child support, you have to pay child support, or the child should visit. Even the child's not supposed to be calling that's what I'm saying. When a child is, if it depends on the age. If a child is like 6 and calling it that, and you're in a new relationship, that could cause kind of problems because the first, especially it depends on what they're asking for, because it kind of feels like the mother is putting them up to this, and the money should be given to the child when they visit, and you take care of them or do this instead. That's what I'm saying. But people don't look at it that type of way. Even if I had a child, I would look at it that type of way. People just kind of, and the people who like, that ain't right. Think about it. If you had a husband or a girlfriend, a boyfriend or something like that, and he had a spouse that was doing it, people don't see certain things, certain types of ways until it happens to them. So just to erase the whole equation, instead of just even dealing with stuff like that, I don't even want to deal with stuff like that. Unless people have control, they're a single parent, or just in general, it's like that can cause kind of a lot of problems. And if guys don't see it that way, think about how Kevin Samuels says it. Don't he say silly stuff about we don't want to be dealing? I mean, it's not to be mean or whatever, because it's not saying that you can't ever deal with somebody that has kids, but it's like you don't want to take on the parents of those kids if they're not in control. I just already don't like dealing with a lot of ignorance or whatever. It's just, it is what it is. So I don't even know why I said that. I just want to throw that in there. Yeah, but that's one of the ways you can tell if you're under a demonic spell. Is if somebody is putting something on you and making you feel like you're obligated to do something, but they don't want to reciprocate. Once you wake up in your mind and realize a person is using you and playing you for a fool, then you start getting enraged and mad, and you won't even fall for it anymore. So that's just something to think about.